Okay, hello everybody. Hope you all had a great weekend. It's Sayed Option here, and as usual, please like and subscribe to my channel. And we're going to start a marathon about how to use indicators and to reading charts. So for those who don't know, this is Thinkorswim, and I have here charts set up as 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily and weekly charts here. And this is the Bollinger Band. Bollinger Band has an upper level, middle level and lower level. And this is ES right now. It's live. We're looking right now. I have the SMA 5, 10 and 50 and 200 on every charts. Here I have MACD. MACD has two lines, RSI, and then we have a statistic fast here, TTM squeeze, and IV, which is implied volatility. So that's pretty much it about just indicators. I'm gonna go over it, but obviously just wanted to show you guys. So I'm gonna start by longer time frames and explain how TTM squeeze and MACD works. So I have these charts here. For on Thinkorswim, you can click on this part and have as many panels as you want. I have already the maximum. You can select more panels and create these parallel panels next to each other. I already detached it. You can also click here and click on detach, create another window. I already did that. So I created these attachments to show you 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly and quarterly charts here. So right now I want to just show you how the TTM squeeze is, what does it mean, these everything, and then I go into the details on the lower time frames, how everything works. If you do have a trading view, let me just show you guys 1 second on trading view. 1 second, I log in. So for example, if you don't have Thinkorswim, because a lot of not every platform supports TTM squeeze, but TradingView you can go and add the indicator name there is a squeeze. Let me see here. You MACD and the TTM squeeze and the TTM squeeze. You just search SQZ Pro and it adds it, and it's the same as Thinkorswim. You have light blue bar, dark blue bar, red and yellow, and then MACD is same. I keep all the settings as a default, so you can do whatever you want, but I keep it as default because that's what everybody else does it. So and then also on the trading view, you can select the parallel windows next to each other, but the maximum trading view allows is 4. So for on trading views, you just click here. You can have like 15 set up, 30 minutes. You can have 1 hour, and then whatever time frame you want, choose. But the most important thing is, when you are reading charts, you do need to look at all time frame. You can't just pay attention to one time frame, like 5 minutes for example. You have to see what is the trend on the long term chart. So anyhow, let's start with the MACD. MACD has two lines. It has a blue line here and a yellow line under it. And the most important thing is when it's dead crosses and when it golden cross. What it means golden cross? Golden cross means when these two lines pass each other. So when the line passes, the bottom line passes the top, this blue line passes the yellow line. This is called the golden cross. When it does the other way, when it does dead cross, when the blue line passes the yellow line, that means dead cross. Simple. And it does have bars like TTM squeeze, but the bars are a little bit no, I don't want to say not good. They're good, but TTM squeeze is better and more accurate. That's why I use TTM squeeze parallel to the MACD, and they use them together. So that's about MACD. Statistics, and then we have RSI. RSI, we have overbought zone, we have oversold zone. Let me see, for example, I show you oversold zone. So here, when RSI goes below the 30 level, it's become oversold. You can see here, oversold, and I will go over the details on that. And then a statistic fast, it's another indicator that acts super fast, and the movement in that one is much faster than other indicators that I know, and it gives you faster signal, but the movement there is so rapid. So and then we have TTM squeeze. TTM squeeze it's very simple. I don't pay too much attention to the dots, but you can use those too. But what I pay attention the most is when the color changes from light blue bar to dark blue bar, or let me show you on another time frame here. Okay, for example, when it changes the color, when it changed from red dark blue bar goes to red bar, or when from red goes to yellow, or when the color changes, and also when the bar is on the rise, and then when the bar gets the same size. So I will explain this on the smaller chart time frames. So anyhow, this is what you want to always watch in the names. You want to know what is the trend on that name. For example, this is ES. So we have 4 hour chart, and then we have daily here, weekly, monthly, and quarterly. It's really important. What is the quarterly chart? For example, this is quarterly. When quarterly dead crossed here, market became so bearish, but right now it's staying flat, and it's really important on the monthly chart. For example, on the corona time, the monthly charts on the MACD dead cross. That's why market becomes super bearish very fast. But then at a very rapid time, in a few months, the monthly charts, MACD starts golden crossing, and that's why the market became super fast, super bullish, and it was just non-stop run up until you can see here on the MACD in the March 2022, it gave a signal of a dead cross on the monthly chart, and then the bar starts decreasing. So if even so before the MACD dead crosses, it's another thing you have to pay attention in the MACD on all time frame is how is the angle that going up. For example, look at this 4 hour right now, how bullish this MACD is. This MACD is golden cross here. It can continue going up until the curve starts curving down. For example, look at daily here. Um, this is daily on ES. The MACD was up, it curved down, it didn't dead cross, and then it came up, and then it curved down and gave a dead cross. So the MACD, what you want to pay attention to it is when it goes up and it curves down. When it curves down, that means it's sign of either deceleration or change of direction. It can be either one, because you can see here, like on the daily, it curved down, it was about to come down, but it deaccelerated, and then it got jump up again. So everything is changeable in every time frame all the time. But what you want to pay attention is how is the MACD going? Is the MACD flat? Look, even is the MACD flat, it's sideways. Market is just going up and down. So right now, for example, on this time frame, you can see here the MACD came here. It was on dead crossing, about to dead cross, and then it diverted up and it got bullish. It diverted up, and then at the same time, parallel to this indicator, you can see here TTM squeeze start giving you blue bar. Once it starts giving you blue bar and the bar is on the rise, market is gonna stay bullish until that bar turns to dark blue bar, and you can see what happened last 2 bars. You see how bearish it gets. So what you want to pay attention is these bars, how they work together, and I will go over it in a short time frame. It's more understandable, but I just want to show you on the long time frame. When you look at a name, for example, let's look at one name like Beyond. It went down a lot, or Carvana, or many names you can look. When you see like a name on Carvana, for example, event Beyond, and this is Beyond right now. So Beyond, you can see here the monthly chart on July 2022, it dead cross. So this name, trend is down. It doesn't matter that it come to 18 and goes to 41. The monthly is dead cross. Even though right now is golden cross, because the quarterly is still very bearish, it still is not helping it out. Okay, but let's look at Nvidia. Nvidia was a crazy name, and it came down. The monthly MACD, the quarterly MACD dead cross last 3 quarters ago. But what happened is weekly MACD, you can see here. So when it made an all-time high, after it made an all-time high on the weekly MACD, we got a dead cross here. So that was a sign that this run-up is over. Once it's over, even if it came down, it got a super jump here, but MACD never golden cross. So there was still pressure down. So once the pressure is down, where is gonna accelerate? Keep in mind, the drop accelerates when the TTM squeeze turns from yellow to red, and the red bar starts accelerating. It starts rising up until they become almost the same size and change color. So it changed color here. We got like two candles of bounce, and then But the MACD, where did the MACD golden cross? MACD gives you the best confirmation. TTM squeeze gives you the earlier confirmation. MACD gives you the best confirmation. So here you can see MACD golden cross, and we had on this time frame two candles of green higher than after the MACD golden cross. But then if you go to the lower time frame on daily, so this is what 8/8/2022. So let's see what happened on 8/8 on the daily chart. Daily chart maximum. So on August 2022, you can see here, for example, daily, it was bullish after MACD got a golden cross. Daily was very bullish. It was upward, but what happened? Daily got a dead cross. It became flat. Then the MACD curved down. Once the MACD curved down, that was a signal that maybe this bounce is not real. So and it was sideways going up and down. What happened is then we got another MACD dead cross. So it starts going down again. So that's a signal. Even though it got a golden cross, after that we got a dead cross, so it's going down. Then you wait for the next golden cross. MACD here got golden cross on October 24, and after that it was a solid run for few candles, which on this time frame weekly it happened to be few months, and run up lasted until when? Until even right now. So Nvidia right now, why is not bearish? Because we don't have the red blue bar. So look at here quarterly. The Nvidia was just a parabolic going up. And then look at here on quarterly what happened. On the TTM squeeze, let me just maximize this window. TTM squeeze, you can see the bars rising, and every bar is bigger than the bar before until the next bar, which is in April 22, the bar becomes smaller. And this bar doesn't become suddenly a smaller, like this big, smaller and red and dark blue bar. Obviously this was was 1 quarter, so you had plenty of time to see that this bar is not the light blue bar anymore. So that's a signal that it's either top of it, deacceleration, or change of direction. Always remember, when light blue bar goes to dark blue bar, it means it has different meanings. It's either deacceleration, change of direction, or it's about to turn around and go down. And this situation was turn around to go down. So anyhow, weekly MACD got a golden cross here on the MACD on the October 24, and after that, the next time frame, which after weekly comes monthly, it joined it. You gotta just ignore these levels here. I have a lot of levels on every name, and that's a different thing. It's my secret sauce how to find levels. But 1 second, but what I want to mention is you want to pay attention when the shorter time frames starts getting bullish. You have to pay attention to the next time frame. How is that one reacting to that one? How is that one reacting to the previous time frame? Is that one is getting bullish too? Once that one getting bullish, that one becomes the next validation. So anyhow, you can see here that the monthly MACD golden cross on March for Nvidia, for example, and then after that the MACD on the quarterly Nvidia, it was dead cross. It was downward. If we go back, I can on Thinkorswim you have an option, click on demand, but it's just too much work. You click on it. Oh my god. You click on it and then you select the date, and then it comes and you can go and back this strategy on that day. Anyhow, so this one you can see MACD was dead cross on Nvidia on October 2022, but because of the jump up on the weekly we got a golden cross, on the monthly we got a golden cross. After that, this one got diverted and changed up and is upward right now. So this is the whole point. You want to pay attention to how these works, and now I will show you how on smaller time frame works. Let's look at another name, Tesla. So Tesla, for example, this is an extreme case on Tesla. For example, in April on 2020, you can see here the bars how crazily was rising up, and the bar will go on until you see a dark blue bar. So Tesla, April 2022 was the best time to get out. Why? Because the quarterly showed dark blue bar. If you are a long-term investor in Tesla, April 2022, no matter what price it was, you had 1 quarter to get out of it before it drops crazier. Okay, so another example is monthly. Why market start getting bearish? Because the monthly charts it starts getting bearish. So for example on Tesla, you can see here it made a new all-time high, and then after that was sideways until it got a MACD dead cross on the monthly. Once that one happens, then the trend is down. And even though, and what's interesting about Tesla is that Tesla, even though that it jumped from 100 to 200, still we don't have a yellow bar on the Tesla. That's why there's a lot of people still buying puts, and there is still pressure down. Even though it goes up, it comes with a sell-off. So another name, let's look at Apple for example. Sorry about that. Apple, for example, you can see here that on the quarterly chart, it was dead cross on the quarterly chart, but because of this big jump up from low of 120 and all the way up, it got diverted up. But if you pay attention, and the last how many years you see here, last time it dead cross had a valid, very valid dead cross which lasted 3 quarters, was in 2016. And you can see here a dead cross right away after 3 quarter, golden cross past the all-time high. It's really important in when trading, option trading. You want to pay attention to the breakout. You want to pay attention to breaking the high of the day, previous high breaking out. So you can see here it dead crossed MACD on the quarterly. It came down, it established a range, it made a low, and then it break the high of the previous high, which was here. And then once it broke out, this was an entrance, you missed that one, you catch the next one, which is the previous high here. And then after that, since 2017, it's just quarterly look is upward and still up. And what's interesting about Apple is that Apple right now monthly MACD is about to golden cross. If that happened this month or next month, it needs a little bit jump up past the all-time high. If that happens, and then it's gonna be trend, it's gonna be a crazy trend, and 200 is possible to come. Why is Apple bullish? You can see here the red bar turning to yellow. So that's just the simple ways you want to pay attention to the changing color of the bars on TTM squeeze and MACD. And also a statistic fast, it gives you an earlier warning. For example, these all the things that I'm telling you right now, you can use that at any time frame. But it just on the longer time frame is just clear, more clear picture. For example, you can see here statistic fast few times golden cross, dead cross. That's why it's called a statistic fast. It gives you a faster signal, but at the same time it gives you an earlier signal. So it could when it gives you an early signal for a bounce or a drop, it could be a temporary one, it could be a short-term one, but it could be it's a chance to make some short-term profit. For example, here on the monthly chart on the Apple, before the TTM squeeze red turns to yellow, a statistic fast 2 months before it already golden cross. Okay, so let's look at another name like Bidu. Um, Bidu is really interesting. Like the daily on the daily charts right now is golden cross. You see that? But before that, the daily golden crosses, the statistic fast 3 days ago it gave you an earlier sign. You see that? The statistic fast gives you an earlier sign that this is about to jump up. So after that, we got a confirmation 3 days later, MACD golden cross. So this, if I want to put an order, first a statistic fast gives you a signal, then TTM squeeze, then the MACD. If you get all these aligned, then it can continue going. So for example, look at the Bidu. MACD golden cross right now. When was the last time? You want to back test it. Okay, for example, look here. MACD golden cross here on when? 317. What happened then? On 317, 144, it went how far? 144 went to 160, 160 something. So, and then what happened is the MACD dead cross. Change color here. Once it changed color from dark light blue bar to dark blue bar, it continue going lower and lower until you get a change of color. How far can a name go down? You want to wait until you see a yellow bar, and any time frame until there is red bar, the pressure is down. Even though it gets a bounce, you want to keep in mind the pressure is still down until you don't see a yellow bar. So once you see a yellow bar, then you can say, okay, this could be the bottom, maybe change direction, get ready. Okay, for example, another one I want to show you is Tesla. I go back to Tesla again. Tesla, if you look at the daily charts, for example, when it was falling crazy all the way down to 100, look at here. The daily charts, it was around 175. The daily MACD dead crossed, and then we got a TTM squeeze, and the bar starts rising up. Look at here. This is the daily chart, and every bar was longer than the other bar until you get the same bar change of color. What happened here? We got to 106. Okay, the MACD is not golden cross yet. The stochastic fast got a golden cross. We got a yellow bar, and then what happened? It's, let me show you something here actually. When something is falling or flying, either way, same strategy. When it falls, either comes down like this or does a V recovery, or it comes like that and then like this and goes up, or it can come down, do a little bit zigzag and then go up, or it can come, build a base and go lower. So these are different strategies, and this line can be, can be like this, can be, a slowdown and then sudden drop again. So there's all consideration you have to keep in mind, all possibility of scenarios when something is falling or flying. Something when it's flying, it can continue a little bit flat consolidation and go up again, or it can fly, come down a little bit like that and then go up. So that's why we use the indicators. In this case, like for Tesla, when it came down, like I went and checked historic chart for Tesla and the RSI. And here's another thing about RSI. RSI is really, really important. You want to always pay attention when is overbought, when is oversold. Okay, when is the most interesting about RSI is that never ever the chart, the candle on any time frame, it stays in the RSI zone more than few candles. Don't forget this. Never ever the candle stays in the overbought zone or oversold zone for a long period of time. Okay, and for a long period of time of those candle time frames. For example, on this quarterly, you can see here, once it went to overbought zone, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. 9 was the maximum. 9 maximum candle. Yes, 9 quarter is like 2 years. Okay, and that's why it's really important when a quarterly names RSI goes into overbought zone. That means the stock is super bullish. Okay, so that, like, let me go back to Nvidia. How's the RSI there? So RSI right now, it's getting here. You see, if Nvidia RSI goes to the overbought zone in the quarterly base, or the monthly base goes to the RSI overbought zone, that's when it's gonna squeeze up. And the weekly is already there. You see here, weekly is already in the overbought zone, and that's the time it can squeeze. So anyhow, let's go back to Tesla. Same thing. So I studied Tesla when the RSI went to oversold zone. I saw in the last, I don't know when was the IPO of Tesla. It was 2010. So 2010 they had an IPO, and since then I studied all, like these years, these last 20, 12, 13 years, they never had their RSI daily more than like 9 or 10 candles be there. So when it went here, it was like 13 candles, like even, let me count, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13, probably 15. So 15 candles was in RSI in the oversold zone on the daily. So it was just squeezing down, like when something goes squeezing down, the bigger it squeezes down, the harder it's gonna jump up. And same reverse, when it comes to parabolic, when something parabolic goes up, just keep in mind everything that goes up like parabolic, it can fall. Just look at the history of tulip mania. Everything that goes up crazy, it can fall and then maybe goes up again, but nothing flies up forever, that's for sure. So anyhow, this one you can see here, once this RSI got out of the zone and it was establishing a zone, establishing a range. It's in option trading, in any trading, always the most important thing is range. You want to pay attention to the range. Once the range breaks, the sky is the limit either way. Cathy Wood, I have a lot of respect for her. Anyway, she has a different strategy right now. But one thing I really learned from her, which is really interesting, is that the bigger the base, the bigger the breakout. Never forget this. This is really beautiful. The bigger the base, the bigger breakout, and that works on any time frame. For example, look at Tesla. It was building a big, huge race for huge base for few years, and once it broke the base, it just was just crazy jump up. That's why there was a lot of bullish people on it. And for example, Microsoft, same thing. Um, if you look at Microsoft, Microsoft was in a tight range for a few years, just up and down. Um, just zoom out here. So Microsoft was a huge dead name, huge. Just look here. Um, between 2000, 2004, I believe, yeah, 2004, 2000, yeah, here you can see here what this range of Microsoft. It was just going between 25 and 36, just up and down, up and down, up and down. And then what happened here? It broke the range. Once it broke the range on the yearly and this quarterly chart, it was just sky the limit. Here you can see the breakout April 2013. Microsoft was way behind Apple on other techs, but once it broke out, look at here the MACD quarterly. So the MACD quarterly, we start getting light blue bar. We got two consolidation here, two dark. This is the acceleration sign. Okay, we got two light blue bar, and then it continues going, and it's still right now. Which is the most interesting about Microsoft right now. If I'm looking at it right now, is that on the quarterly chart, the TTM squeeze, we got light blue bar again. That's a huge sign. Look what happened here. We got two dark blue bar, then we got light blue bar, and then we'll look what happened. So same thing, it is a possibility that can happen again. And right now, monthly chart on the Microsoft MACD is golden cross. TTM squeeze gave you a sign 3 months ago. A stochastic fast gave you a sign on October when it golden cross and went from the bottom of the 20, it broke out above it. These are when it breaks the bottom, the next direction is upward. So the next goal is to go above this 80 zone. So anyhow, that's about that. I just wanted to show you the concept of how TTM squeeze, MACD, stochastic fast works, and I will show you on the short time frame and how IV volatility works, implied volatility, and then I will show you SMA and Bollinger Band. Another thing to pay attention is Bollinger Band, which I think it's better I show you on the smaller time frames. So let's go to a smaller time frame there. I put this one down. This one we don't need it. All right. So next one, I'm gonna show you AMD, for example, 2 days ago on Thursday. What happened there? So let me just bring it 2 days ago. One second, I fix this one. Sorry about this. Okay, 30 minutes, dynamics, nope. Alright, so this is fixed. That one, I'm sorry about this one. I need to show you the day before, so fixing the time frames here, 15 minutes. Let's do it 3 days, 15 minutes. Okay. All right, the 5 minutes time frame, 3 days. Messing up my setup, but it's for education. 1 minute chart, time frame, 3 days. All right. So we are coming to AMD. Okay, here we go. So AMD on Thursday, it was downward. Okay, so you can see here because of the earning, it's downward. The weekly is still not bullish on the TTM squeeze. This is how I look at it when I want to trade. This is how I look. So the TTM squeeze, we still don't have on the weekly any bullish sign. But the statistic fast on Thursday, golden cross, early sign. Weekly is still curved down, but it's not dead cross. Okay, daily is still was bearish on Thursday pre-market when market opens, but because of these 2 days bounce right now is curved up, but it's still not golden cross. Once that happened, it gets even more bullish. And 4 hour on the AMD before Thursday morning, it was red bar. Okay, so this is really important. On Thursday at 9 a.m., you come to market, you check in pre-market, how's the indicators, how's everything looking. The TTM squeeze on the 4 hour is still very bearish. Let me before I go to here, let me teach you something really important about how one of the best perfect setups for trading. Find it, yes, here. So in option trading, one of the most interesting thing is that one of the best strategy that it always 90% of the time works is that you want to pay attention to the 4 hours. Always pay attention to the 4 hours. 4 hours TTM squeeze and MACD is one of the best playing. Okay, for example, look here, Nvidia daily charts. Okay, daily charts is right now in the sideways. Okay, weekly is very bullish, daily is just up and down. But what happened is here on Wednesday 2 weeks ago, we got a MACD golden cross, and before we got a MACD golden cross, we had a TTM squeeze yellow bar. You can see here for a few days it was red bar, then we got a yellow bar, but it's still inside the range. Okay, so this is early warning that be ready, it can jump up anytime. Okay, you get ready, and then you see this range here build out, and look at this 4 hour, it build out a base between 262 and 274. You wait for the breakout top of the range. What is the range top? Here the top range is 273. We have here 274 level. You wait for the breakout. When the breakout happens, then here you can see here before even this breakout happens, the TTM squeeze start giving you light blue bar. It's still MACD is upward, so anytime this spring can jump up, this range can break out. The sign is toward up. The sign is telling that this range can anytime break out, not break down, it can break up. So, and even though it went down here on this day, it still was a blue bar. Even though it's possible on that day 4 hour maybe it gave a dark blue bar, but because of the right away bounce back, that shows the strength. The next day it opened, right from the open jump up, and the bar starts rising, and it break out the previous highs of the days before, and then boom, it bounced up, it gives you a 2 days run up. Okay, and the RSI, as I mentioned, RSI went to the overbought zone. And how long the candle lasts there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 candles. As I mentioned, RSI never stays there super long. Okay, so anyhow, that was a sign. And then, okay, you missed this run on Nvidia. What's next? Okay, wait for the next one. When is the next one? Here, 9 a.m. on Friday, it gives you a sign. Hey, I give you yellow bar. A statistic fast, it built a range. Right now, broke the range. MACD, golden cross, 9 a.m. on the 1 hour. But if you're day trading, you can go and look at the shorter time frame, which I will go after this, and get the signal earlier. Okay, so anyhow, right now, until the 4 hour MACD is not dead cross, this run up can continue until this when this yellow turns to light blue bar, which does like this run up can continue. Okay, so anyhow, let's go back there. So we go back to AMD again. So AMD, we were here. So AMD pre-market on that day, 4 hour in the morning was still TTM squeeze, was still bearish. Okay, but what happened is, this is, so I explained to you how the longer time frame works on the TTM squeeze and MACD. Now you need to use that knowledge to on the short term time frame. Okay, so imagine, so anyhow, so right now you come pre-market every on Thursday on, yes, it was on Thursday. Everything was, a lot of names were weak and it was red. But what happened is AMD was very strong. From the morning, you want to pay attention. From the morning, how's the market reacting? Okay. So AMD, just let me make sure the setup is right. Yes. So AMD, for example, pre-market that day, on the 1 minute before market opens, was just establishing a range. You see here, okay, and then pre-market, as soon as the market opens, it did some jump up and down, but the 5 minutes MACD golden cross and gave you a confirmation, and the yellow bar turns to light blue bar. That's a sign that this could be a jump up. Okay, after that you want to wait for the 15 and 30 min confirmation. Pre-market, 15 was dead cross. Okay, right now it shows, flat because of the big jump up at open, but if you would have opened AMD pre-market on Thursday, it was downward. Okay, and but it diverted up because these adopt after the movements. Okay, and but in the 30 minutes it was bullish. You can see here 30 minutes AMD, it was yellow bar and rising, yellow bar rising, yellow bar getting smaller, smaller, smaller until it changed color. Once it changed color, it gets into acceleration. Once the bar starts rising, that means acceleration. You can see here how the acceleration get another acceleration. Okay, so anyhow, so here AMD got a 5 minutes golden cross, so that's a sign that this name is strong. And I always say, until the 15 and 30 MACD is not dead cross, there is still chance for jump up. So at this point, you can see here AMD was strong. It established a range. What is the range? 82.26, 83.34, the levels I have, and I post in the service. But once it breaks the range, it was just sudden break. You can see here it broke at the range, and then on top of all indicators, all the philosophy, all the fundamentals and everything else, the most important things in trading is volume. Volume talks number one. Volume is the most important thing. Volume is what changes everything. Volume is what moves the market. Once you see the volume, is just look at the volume, very low, and then suddenly you see volume starts rising. Number one. Number two, candle, this is 1 minute chart, so you have to act super quick. When you see a breakout, okay, breaking out of the range and the volume is on the rise, that means people are jumping on it. People are jumping on it fast. Another thing, look at the RSI. RSI, so let's look at the 1 minute and let's go over the indicators, learn how these indicators work. This is, I don't want to say this has happened very often, that a name moves like almost 10% in less than from 18 to what, 34, so that's like what, 16 minutes. 16 minutes move, but imagine this happens in a yearly chart. Imagine it happens on the monthly chart. Imagine it happens on the weekly, daily chart. So if you learn how indicators work on any time frame, you can use and adopt that to any time frame else. Okay, and you can adopt your strategy, your play to those indicators. When you see a name going sideways, for example here on the 5 minutes, or let's look at the 15 minutes, it's just going up and down, up and down. So this is a range. The range play has its own strategy. You don't go buy something waiting for a breakout when it's just going up and down. You wait for the range when the breakout. That's the time. You don't want to stock your money forever in the range. You want to wait for the breakout, then jump in. All right, so anyhow, here 1 minute breakout and the RSI start jumping up. So I need to tell you about this. There's a lot of tricks about RSI and let's just start from MACD. Let's just start from MACD first. So the MACD golden cross, and I always say when the name is running so fast, high is going up, then the run up, it doesn't finish until you see dark blue bar TTM squeeze. So you get it? Here the TTM squeeze was running until it gives you a validation here at 136, and that was end of it. Yes, you missed two candles, it's late, but you get more run up here. So this is number one. And then on top of that, another thing in the option you want to pay attention is IV, implied volatility. Implied volatility is the way algorithms behave. That's how they look at the market, that's how they price the option. If the IV is going up, that means the premiums are getting more expensive. Okay, let me show you guys something here. Where is Tesla? So let me deattach this one and change the number to 1. I don't want to mess up that AMD right now, so we do this one, Tesla. So here, look at Tesla. Let me maximize this one, and then we go to weekly. All right, zoom out. You want to pay attention to implied volatility. Look, when Tesla was going into a range for a few years, look at the implied volatility. It never went above 60. Here it went over like 84, but it jumped down. But look what happened here when it started jumping up. That's why a lot of people play Tesla at that time, because when it broke out, the IV went all the way to 1.5. That is crazy. That is really crazy. Like Beyond, I don't know if it has Beyond. Beyond, I remember when it went to 300. Look at here, it went like to 1.17. That's crazy. Let me show you AMC when it was just going crazy, or I'll show you GME too. So you can see here how the IV was going up. You see this jump, how the IV went up. Here when jumped, IV went up. Let's see GME as one. So look at the IV. IV went to 585. Can you believe it? That is crazy. Right now the IV is 8.3, but just look at here how crazy it went. Let me show you daily. Daily on GME. So daily, look here. When the IV goes up, it means it's a runner. Okay, until it cools down. When it cools down, means the algos are gonna kill premiums. So anyhow, let's go back to that chart again and AMD. AMD, as you can see here, the algos are increasing. Just turn this off 1 second. And the algos are increasing the IV. What it means they're expecting it to go higher. When the IV jumps, means they're expecting the quote goes higher, gets more bid, and then therefore they're increasing the premium options. And you want to wait until the premium starts falling or fading. And sorry about that. Another thing to pay attention is, this was a non-stop run up, but then MACD got a dead cross. So that when it gets a dead cross, it's 3 candles after the 1 minute. That's a later sign, but that's a bigger confirmation that, hey, this can be a real pullback. And pay attention. Another thing to pay attention is when a name is running up, when the 5 minutes is golden cross, okay, usually if a name doesn't crazy jump like AMD, they could jump like maybe 1-2%, they usually give many more chances to run up. So you wait for the next 1 minute golden cross to next opportunity. But if you pay attention, 1 minute MACD never golden cross. You see here golden cross, it dead cross at 138. It never golden cross a valid one until 230. And until 230 it didn't golden cross. Then even if golden cross, it did few candles, but it still got sold off. Why? Because even though it golden cross, it was too late. Why? Because it's 230. Look at 5 minutes, what happened after 230. The 230, it's already 5 minutes dead cross. The 15 minutes at 245 gives you a dark blue bar. And then what it means, when a name is on the rise, the bars are on the rise, when the 15 minutes give you a dark blue bar, means what again? Deacceleration, change of direction, or starting pullback. And in this case, pullback, deacceleration, and consolidation. So the 1 minute, if it golden crosses, again, that's a sign that it can go up. I'll show you on the next example. But anyhow, I just want to show you how the MACD works. On this one, I show you RSI is really important. Once it gets out of it, the premiums can start dying. The statistic fast, it's bullish until it stays on top of the range. Once you get out of this range, it can lose premium. It can pull back harder, which came down here. And once it bounced back from this bottom level up, it gives another opportunity for a few minutes. It was short term, but if you apply it to the other longer time frame, you know, this strategy, it helps. So anyhow, another thing to pay attention is SMA. We have SMA 510. It's really important when the name is on the run, and if the candles are running above the 5 SMA, that run up stays bullish. So here you can see it jumps up the 5 SMA, the candles are running on top. It never dead cross until here, a little bit after the MACD dead cross. So a lot of people use 5 SMA and 10 SMA. It acts a lot like MACD. That's why I more emphasize on MACD all the time. But it gives a little bit later signal than MACD. But at the same time, it's really interesting to pay attention to it. So because when it's rides above it, it stays bullish. So let's look at AMD the next day. The next day, what happened? AMD on Friday, pre-market, for example, AMD pre-market on Friday, 30 minute was downward. It was bearish. MACD was down. It was red TTM squeeze. 15 minutes was just mixed signal. It gave the one yellow. It gave one red then. And then 5 minutes, but 5 minutes, as I mentioned, shorter time frames give you first signal, then longer time frames. If they confirm it and join it, then it becomes more validated. Okay, so here 5 minutes gave a golden cross at 9:10, and then when the market opened, right away it jumped. That's really important, you know. And look here, sorry about that. It starts building a base. Once it's in option trading, in any trading, the most important thing is breakout. Breakout is where you make your money. It built a base. You had 10 minutes until 9:38. It broke out the base with a big candle, and it did not pull back. Okay, so another thing you want to pay attention to is a lot of indicators. Once they start getting bullish, like at open, if it's bullish pre-market, you want to pay attention. If you grab it and it fails, you want to get out sooner than later. Okay, for example, a name can be very bullish pre-market, 5, 15, 30, 1 hour, everything is upward. As soon as market opens, you jump on it, you get it, and then after 5-10 minutes, boom, it pulls back. Okay, it's pulling back. Is this pullback is just temporary, or is it gonna go and 5 minutes give a dead cross? If at 5 minutes, for example, it dead crosses and then it goes below low of the open, that means that the setup is getting invalidated, and you don't want to hold that. That's already a loose trade. You hold that because the setup is getting invalidated. The 5 minutes is dead cross. So if the 5 minutes is dead cross, then later on it's possible that if it continues going lower, 15 and 30 is gonna dead cross, then it's gonna put the trend is gonna turn down. So a trend can always change at any time. You want to always be ready in option trading. Anyway, that's just a lot of time in last 1-2 years, a lot of time this happens. Why? Because the pressure on the longer time frame was downward. So you want to use all these indicators combination together with a lot of experience to know where to enter and where to exit. I'm trying to show you the most I can. But anyhow, in this case, AMD, for example, 5 minutes was that golden cross. Then it starts giving you blue bar. So the bar starts rising. It jumps up. It gives a big jump. And then as soon as market open, 15 minutes MACD golden cross. 30 minutes MACD golden cross. And it starts establishing a range. And then it starts riding above the SMA, 5 SMA. Okay? And on top of that, you want to pay attention to Bollinger Band. Bollinger Band is something really interesting. That takes a lot of time to explain too. I can continue until midnight, but well, I don't want to make it too long video. But anyhow, on Bollinger Band, you want to always be careful. Whenever it goes out of it, there is a possibility that it pulls back inside of it. Okay, So for example, in this case, it went above it, but then it came inside, and Bollinger Band started expanding, and then you can see here it righted the top of the line. It's really important when a name is on the rise, where is the position of the candle? Is it in the mid between the high of the lower upper band BB, Bollinger Band, or we call it BB? Is it between the upper BB and mid BB, or is it below the mid BB and lower BB? Okay, so you want to pay attention to that one. And in this case, AMD, until 3 o'clock, it was still on top of the mid BB, which keeps it still bullish on the 5-minute chart. Okay, and the 30 minutes, you can see here, for example, on the AMD 15 and 30, as soon as market opened, it jumped and went above the BB. That puts it in the bullish patterns. Okay, and everything I'm telling you right now, you can put it in the reverse way for when something is falling. When it goes below the mid BB, it starts getting bearish. Okay, so anyhow, let's just fast forward here. So the 5 minutes, it goes up, it dead crossed here, but look at here, we got a dark blue bar and MACD dead cross. Okay, so you would say, oh my god, now it's gonna pull back, it's gonna go down. But pay attention, every pullback comes with a buyback, every dip it comes with a buy. Look at all these candles, how all of them are hammer. This is something interesting. Why? Because now that means it's establishing a base. Once it breaks the base, continues going higher. You want to pay attention to the 15 and 30 TTM squeeze until you don't have a dark blue bar. The run up can continue, and even though it gave a dark blue bar, you would say, oh my god, I want to take profit. Same thing again. You want to see if it breaks the base. You want to put, once you see a dark blue bar, you want to put a stop loss. Say, okay, now this is probably the top, I'm gonna put a stop loss. If it goes below it, I'll take my profit. But if it doesn't, you know, or you can lock progressively, lock half of it, see what's happened to the rest. Okay, so anyhow, 15 minutes dead crossed here, and once it dead crossed, probably most likely had some premium killing into close, but not a little bit, not too big. So this is how you want to read the chart. How is this happening, and how is everything going? For example, let me show you another name, Etsy. Etsy was very interesting. This is something that got invalidated as soon as market opened. Even though in the service I said the same thing, Etsy can pay attention to it if it breaks 97. So here, look at Etsy. Etsy, the previous day, the high was what? 97. So that was the key important level to watch. Previous day there was 97, 90. Let me just double check that. Yeah, so previous day before, previous high of the day during market hours was 97. That was the key level to break out. And pre-market, Etsy had a good earning, it was jumping up, and pre-market 15 was up, 30 was up, 5 minutes as soon as market golden cross. But look, it only lasted for 3 candles. As soon as it jumped, then 1 minute dead cross. Once it 1 minute dead cross, then the 5 minutes dead cross. At what time? 10 o'clock. Then the 15 dead cross. Then the 30 dead cross. 30 was golden cross, but TTM squeeze gives you a sign of a dark blue bar. Then, you know, everything turned down and was just flushed out. So all I'm saying is, every time you're following the indicators, you have to always be prepared for unexpected. Because if the shorter time frame gives you a sign that, hey, this is about to get invalidated, you don't want to hold it long and say, no, it's going to reverse. 30 minutes is still bullish. No, look at the 1 minute and 5 minutes. They're telling you there's possibility it's going to change. And it sure did. 1 minute give you a sign at 9:46, get out. 5 minutes give you a sign, 10 a.m., get out. 15 minutes give you a sign. For example, in this case, let's say you're bullish on Etsy. And then you sell it and you get out, and it came to the low of the day. You don't want to short it yet. You want to see 15 minutes dead cross. Once the 15 minutes gives you a dead cross validation, and then 30 minutes is curved down, then you say, okay, now there is a possibility that this is going to go run down. And it sure did. End of the day, more jump lower down. So let me show you another example, Meta. So Meta, let's go to Wednesday on Meta. Wednesday dropped, right? Yeah. So Wednesday here. We need to change this again. I don't want to do more than 2 hours. So maximum 10:30, and this is you can watch it later too. I'm gonna post it. Anyhow, so let's look at this. I'm just gonna make sure. Okay, this one is right here. Okay, now we are 241.75. Give it to me the right one, please. I think I went too far. I'm explaining you guys how the indicators works in extreme cases. Then you can learn it how it works on the non-extreme cases. Because the most important thing is, when the name starts moving, that's where you make your money. In a breakout, when the range breakout, it's always important to identify when the range breaks out. Oh, so here's another example. Meta, if you pay attention, you see here that we go to Meta here. Let's bring daily. Meta on the 4-hour chart, you can see here it had an earning, it jumped up, and I had this level of 234.73. It's a major level, all right? And this 234, if you have any question, if you have any question, post it there. I will see in the chat. I do have a video how to set up Thinkorswim. It's in my channel, one of my first video. You can see it there. So anyhow, 4-hour, you can see here is building a base. As I mentioned, it's always important to pay attention to the base. 4-hour on the Meta, it got a dead cross. So there was a sign of there is possibility of pullback coming. I always say pay attention to the 4-hour MACD, golden cross or dead cross. It dead crossed when? On Tuesday. And then Wednesday came, the bar is decreasing, but there is still holding the base. The base is what? 237. Every time it comes below 237 level, it jumps back up. 237 jumps back up. And then it comes Wednesday. What happens Wednesday? So we have this level 237.15. I posted in the service. It's really important. Once it breaks it, it can drop to 234. But what happened is on Wednesday, was Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday. So what happened is it suddenly, again, volume starts rising. Before the news hit, you see it. The volume is crazy rising. FTC news comes 2 minutes later to the fin tweet, and the RSI, boom, starts going down. 5 minutes goes down. But you want to pay attention. When something is falling so big, when it's going out of the Bollinger Band, you want to be careful because anytime can be a bounce back. Look here, 1 minute bounce back, 15, 30, and all the time frames were very bearish, right? 15, dead cross. 30 minutes, dead cross. 1 hour, dead cross. 5 minutes, dead cross. Everything dead cross on the MACD. TTM squeeze, the bars are on the rise. Was blue bar, boom, suddenly came down. But once the 1 minute golden cross, that means there could be end of it, okay? And that was end of it. And it bounced back up, but it was because of the bad news. Next day, we got another sell-off. And let's look at on the next day what happened. So you can see here on the next day, let me just bring it the next day. The next day came 5 minutes. You can see here the 5 minutes came down, for example. It was not super crazy on Thursday, but you can see here on the Thursday, 5 minutes got a golden cross, okay? Let's look at the 15, what happened. 15 minutes got a golden cross. This one golden cross on 5 minutes, 10:30. And then at 12:15, 15 minutes golden cross. Okay, that's why you want to pay attention. When a 5 minutes golden cross, 15 needs to comes and to validate it. And then what happened is 30 minutes at 11:30. Actually, what's interesting is, wait, let me just fix this. Okay, yeah, at 11:30, actually 30 minutes gave a better golden cross. Okay, gives which is not very often, but 30 minutes gave a golden cross earlier than the 15 minutes. But you can see here, once the golden cross happened, we got some jump up, and it's established another range. You can see here the MACD was just up and down in the range, and then once the 15 minutes once the 15 minutes was just on the rise until here, it got close to next to the 234 level and it pulled back. I mean, this one, I think I'm wrong. Yes, here, this was the wrong one. Sorry about that. So 5 minutes golden cross here at 10:30, and it established a range, but once it broke, the 5 minutes was already golden cross, right? So it gives you a sign that anytime could be a jump up, all right? And you want to wait for the breakout. 15 minutes golden cross at 12:30, and it broke out on a higher volume. A little bit, you can see here the volumes are declining here. Then it starts rising up, and then it had some solid run for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candle on the 15 minutes. All right, and when you want to get out, you wait, either for your target or you watch the 1 minute. As I always say, just make sure this one is right. So we're going to the next day. Another thing is how to enter, where to enter. Let's say something breaks out of the range. Where should I enter? Right now, 5 minutes, okay, it's upward. Where should I enter? There's so many candles. Where are we right now? 12:30, okay? 12:30, let's say 12:30, 12:15, the MACD 15 minutes golden cross, okay? Let's look at 12:15, what happened. 12:15, it comes down, boom, it bounced back up. MACD golden cross, then it just up and down. You miss this one, okay? This one, you don't want to grab this one. You want to wait for the next one. Here, it jumps back up. You miss this one. What you want to do is, you want to grab, I tell you what, you don't want to buy option when the 90% of the time, if you buy option when the RSI and the 1 minute is in overbought zone, you will lose. You will lose, okay? Or if you buy it, as soon as you buy it, next few minutes, the option premiums can drop 20%, 30%. Why? Because once the 1 minute goes to the RSI overbought, 90% of the time, it comes in a pullback, which it did. Here, it's still on the uptrend. You look at the 515 later on, it's still on the uptrend. But look at this drop. If you buy it, as soon as you buy it, in 6 minutes, you'll be like, oh my God, it's 30% down. Should I get out? You sell for a loss. Oh my God, then it goes up again. So the best thing to do is wait for the MACD golden cross. MACD golden cross here, and the 5 minutes, you can see here the TTM squeeze on the rise, and that's a validation. Until you don't see a dark blue bar, you can keep it. Okay, so even though if you sell it early, for example, okay, you bought it here, you sold it on this 1 minute MACD dead cross, you catch it the next one. Where is the next one? Here again. You catch this one, you can ride it, for example, to here, then the next one, then the next one. That's what day traders a lot. Some day traders do. Every MACD golden cross, when it's a bullish setup, they catch it, they ride it, they get out. That's what the volumes on the rise if you look at the options. So anyhow, until the SMA, for example, if you're playing, you want to hold for longer time frame, for like 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, all day, or until it's valid, you want to pay attention to SMA. Look at the SMA golden cross, and it was valid on the run. You had like at least more than 1 hour to hold this option, right? And the SMA is still riding above it. You see the candle, every time it touches it, it bounces back up, touches it, bounces back up, and it goes until it goes below it and breaks the 10 SMA. All right, so everything, every details I'm telling you, you want to back test it on every chart, and you will see the reactions. So anyhow, here you can see here the candles. You want to pay attention when there is a non-stop 1 minute candles going down. That is a sign that this is end of the run. All right, and what you want to see, another thing you want to look at the Bollinger Band on the 1 minute. It touches it, it bounces back, it comes a little bit below it, it stays still on the top. You see here, it never comes below the BB, mid BB. So it rides mid BB until here, it comes and touches the lower BB. Once it touches the lower BB, if you're still holding it, I mean, I don't know. So anyhow, another thing, that's another example of Meta. And then, what else? Let's look at Tesla too.
Tesla, for example, here. So Tesla, 4 hour already golden crossed when? Let's look at Tesla. Tesla MACD golden crossed on Thursday last week, right? It golden cross, but it was just up and down in the range. Even though it came down this day, still the MACD was golden cross. So MACD never dead crossed here, even though it came down to 154, it bounced back. MACD is still what golden cross, all right? And it was in the range, and here you can see the acceleration, all right? So let's look at the shorter time frame on Friday. So on Friday, news came in, they increased the prices because right now they decreasing the price, the profit margin went lower, so a lot of people are getting bearish, lower profit margin, lower valuation. So but when they increase the price, that's a good news, so it should jump up. So let's see what happened on Friday. The news before market comes up the night before that they're increasing the price in China. So when it opened, before open, you want to pay attention. 15 minutes, golden cross. Before market opens, we have light blue bar on the rise. 30 minutes, look here. 30 minutes, golden cross after market even, okay? Another thing you want to pay attention is 1 hour. I didn't talk too much about 1 hour. I talked about intraday, 5, 1, 15, 30. I talk about long term, 4 hour daily and weekly. But you want to pay a lot of attention to hourly base, hourly chart. There is few secret, as I said. If the MACD weekly, daily, monthly is bullish, and then the 4 hour MACD golden cross or the TTM squeeze gives you a sign of bullishness, that means there is chance for few multi-day run up. That's one of the biggest lessons I learned in market reading charts. On top of that is 1 hour indicators gives you earlier alert than the 4 hour for sure, which is logical. And then a lot of time, which is interesting on Tesla, is that the day before, if 1 hour golden cross, it is a high chance that it continues like for a second day. All right, so let me show you guys Tesla here on the hourly chart. Let's change this to hourly, 365 days. Let's maximize this. And all right, so this is the hourly. So you can see here on the hourly chart, let me just pull down the MACD so you see it better. Like look here, MACD on Thursday at golden cross, and it continues until it gives you dark blue bar on the TTM squeeze. Here we got another golden cross at the open. It was just on up until here. You can see here MACD TTM squeeze gives you a yellow bar. TTM squeeze gives you a yellow bar. MACD golden cross at the open. It was just 2-day run up until the MACD dead cross after hours there. Then another one, very good one here. It did give a golden cross, so it was a sign that it could jump. It jumped for like 158 to something like 163, 164. But in this situation, you want to pay attention to the range. It's not breaking the range. It's not breaking this level. And this is really important. In Tesla, here it got bullish. But what was the problem? The problem was daily. Daily it still was bearish. You can see here, what's really important is you want to pay attention to the longer time frame and lower time frame. If a name intraday actions on the lower time frame gets very bullish, but still weekly and daily are bearish, there is still chance for pressure down and it can get sold. Let me give you an example. Bidu is really interesting. The 4 hour got golden cross here on this day, 227. I remember a few of our followers played that actually. 227, 427. It gave the first TTM squeeze yellow bar. So it was a sign that might be this at the bottom. But I remember what I said. The bottom can be like this, or it can be like this. So you have to always be prepared. We were ready. I was thinking about maybe there's a possibility that this happens, but you have to know that it could happen like this and then goes up. So for example, in this case, Bidu, it had 3 days green, but the MACD never golden cross until 2 weeks later. So that's what is important. Once you see a 4 hour golden cross, not necessarily on the shorter time frame, once you get a bullish, you have to be ready. It could be a short term, it could be temporary, which it was. It did 3 days, run up, then it came down again, made a new low, and then boom, it starts jumping up again. And right now is above, yes, it's above the previous high. So that's, and then and right now, then on Friday we get a MACD golden cross on daily. That's what makes it interesting. So I'm interested to see what video is gonna open tonight. So that's what I wanted to show you about that one. And Tesla, if you notice on daily, it had hard time to break 165, 160, 164, 165 level, especially 166 level, 166.07. It first it had problem breaking 164, then it had problem breaking 166, because you want to, once it breaks the previous range, you want to pay attention to the next range, next target. Oh, here I had 164.71, and the last few days it couldn't break it, 165, 164. It broke it, then next target is 166. Then on Friday, 166 was the most important level, 166.07. Pre-market, 1 hour, golden cross. 30 minutes, golden cross. 15 minutes, bullish and golden cross. 5 minutes, golden cross. Breaks 166, establish a range, and then it goes until the 5 minutes dead cross. 5 minutes dead cross. You say, oh my God, I want to get out. Now it's going to go down. But is it going down or establishing a range? Yes. Premium for next week, 170 calls. It dropped lower. If you're a day trader, for example, short-term trader, you want to get out when the 5 minutes dead cross. But at the same time, the 15 minutes never gave you a dark blue bar until 12 o'clock. And the 30 minutes, it was light blue bar until 3 o'clock. So you want to pay attention. You want to know what's your strategy. You want to know what's your risk tolerance. And on top of all of this, the most important thing is position size. You know, you can go with all your money, or you can go with small amount of money and have less emotion. And then you have to pick the right strike and always, you know, right expiration. Some people play same day expiration on indexes and ETFs. Some people play, 3 days out or next week. It's all a combination of everything together, which is a different category for a different day. So anyhow, I just want to show you how MACD and TTM squeeze works. You want to back test these on all kind of movements. I can show you some other names. For example, SPY. Let's look at SPY on Friday. So SPY on Friday, let me bring 1 minute. Okay, here we go. So SPY pre-market 15, you can see here the MACD was upward, 30 minutes is upward, 1 hour is upward, and the 4 hour MACD is golden cross when 5 a.m. before market opens. Even if it's not golden cross, you can see here 2 candles before the curve is up. All right, so look at here right now. The daily on the SPY TTM squeeze is still light blue bar, and right now because of a little bit weaknesses, it got dark blue bar. What does it mean? Does it mean like market is gonna crash? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But what's most important is it's already in a deacceleration mode. So for now, right now on SPY, we're watching MACD golden cross on the daily. Once the MACD golden cross, then it's gonna get really interesting. And the key level to break is like the previous high. Anyhow, so pre-market right now, you can see here 5 minutes golden cross. Until it doesn't dead cross, it can continue. So it continues here, and you can see here 1 minute. If you like at the open, you grab it. You want to get out when the MACD dead cross. In MACD dead cross, you miss, or you for example, you book profit here, or you say, okay, I'm done for the day, or you didn't get it, and you want to wait for the next MACD golden cross. When it's happened, here the next one, 10:04. MACD golden cross, you get a big jump, you jump on it. You jump on it until you want to, you want to pay attention to the 5 minutes. Because right now, 5 minutes is still very bullish, right? So you can either hold it until the next target, which was 411.67, or until before it dead crosses or it shows you dark blue bar, you want to get out. So anyhow, it came touch 411, start establishing a range. It's really important to identify the range, and then you can put alert. You see here, it broke below the range 410.35. But what happened is, look here, it touched it. It broke 410.35. It broke the lower BB on the 1 minute, 5 minutes, but look here, on the 15 minutes, that's the resistance and the mid BB. It touches almost and pull back up. Once it pulls back up, that's another run up. That's another run up. That means, you know, the deep buyers are buying it. 1 minute got a golden cross here, so okay, you can run get it. And then, you know, most likely it's gonna go back to top of the range, which was 411.67. But in this case, at 105, 5 minutes got a golden cross. Oh my God, 5 minutes golden cross. So let's see what's gonna happen. What happened? At 2 o'clock, 15 minutes got a golden cross. And you know, it was already a super green day. When is a super green day? The 5 minutes and 15 minutes get a golden cross follows. That means it's squeeze ahead. So it's squeezed up and just was a melt up until 413.8, and here you got a MACD dead cross. You know, you should have get out of it, or you can use the earlier sign, previous 1 minute. You can see here was just a squeezing. Look at here, 1 minute. Oh. So 1 minute, yes, you can see here like it was squeezing up here, and until it didn't give you a dead cross, it could continue. And another thing to pay attention, SMA 510 dead cross. It goes below 10 SMA. These are all key things to watch. Everything I'm telling you on the 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, you can apply to the 1 hour. All right. So 1 hour, you see here the SMA is riding above it. Look here, the candle where the midday drop, it touched down the 5 SMA and it bounced back up. It's still riding it. That's really really interesting. It's like magic using these indicators. So any question, let me know. I think we're gonna finish this at 10 o'clock. That's pretty much it. So I did MACD, TTM is good, Bollinger Band, IV, RSI, I went over it. The statistic fast gives you a earlier sign. Let me see. Another thing really interesting is that whatever option you play, you can always add it to your watch list and use all these indicators on it. This is something that nobody tells you. This is something really interesting. For example, here Tesla 170 call for May 12th. Look at here. So you want to see where to enter or where to exit, you can use these indicators. So on the 5 minutes, you see, for example, is on the rise, and then 1 minute dead cross. That's the time, you know, you probably could take a profit. But until the 15 minutes is on the rise, it can continue going on. You can use. It's really interesting if you use all these indicators on the options on the option that you want to play. Use all the MACD dead cross on the 5 minutes, 15 minutes as a signal, as a sign where to enter or where to exit. For example, when an option 1 minute is golden crossing, here, what happened? From 2.8 goes to 3.4. And I'm talking about next week option. If you are a lotto player playing same day, this is just, you know, at least 100% gain. So or another one here, you can see it jump up, and then more and more. And same thing, 5 minutes. Look here, 5 minutes at 1 o'clock, MACD golden cross from 3 goes to 4.5, 3,000 to 4,000, 1,000. Why not? So, you know, this is really interesting that you can use indicators on the option chain too. Why is it interesting? Because these are derivatives on the equities, and they gives you a faster sign, faster signal of the movements. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Just let me see if there's just check if any question, let me know in the chat there. Always keep in mind the range. Once the range breaks on a high volume, that's where the move happens. For example, look at this one. Just looking at this one, you see that SPY. What day is this one? So from 3 days before that, SPY got a sold off. This was the FOMC. So this is the FOMC day. You can see the 15 minutes got a dead cross, 30 minutes dead cross. That was a sign that it's going down. It was just non-stop going down. And even though it jumped up for the next day, but pre-market, pay attention here, pre-market dead cross 30 minutes. The 15 minutes, pre-market dead cross, and it continue going lower until it gives you a valid confirmation golden cross, and then it was still on the sideways. Okay, why it wasn't a very good one? Because still the 1 hour never golden cross. Okay, so you want to pay attention. For example, 15-30 minutes a golden cross, you say, oh my god, it's gonna jump up, but you want to pay attention to all combination of all time frames together. All right. Yep, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed this video. As I said, just learn how the color changes on the TTM squeeze, MACD dead cross, golden cross. Combine all time frame together and backtest all the strategies, backtest all the readings. Go back and look at the movements on the any stock you play, and you will realize where is the movement is gonna come. Where is the acceleration, where is the acceleration, where is a good place to deep buy, where is a place to buy it, what is a good time to buy. Always pay attention to the 1 minute for entry. If you see the RSI is in overbought zone, that's not the time you want to buy calls, unless there is a news, for example, on AMD. Okay, when there is RSI and the overbought zone and there is news, it doesn't really matter. The volume is high, it can continue going higher. Okay, but in general, you want to pay attention to RSI when it's oversold on all time frames, and you want to pay attention to the MACD, TTM squeeze, all combination together, and backtest them, and you will be golden. It's not rocket science. It's just control the emotions, discipline, wait for the confirmation. If the 15:30 is downward, 1 hour is downward, only 1 and 5 gives you a golden cross MACD, doesn't mean, oh my god, it's gonna fly up. Yes, it could be a temporary, because 5 and 1 is up, but if 15 and 30 it doesn't give you a yellow bar on the TTM squeeze, it means it could be just a temporary jump up and it can be sold quick. So these are all key things that in trading you will learn. It needs experience, but once you get it, you be golden. On top of all of these is position size, controlling emotion and being disciplined and controlling it. Once you learn how to read chart and once you enter a trade, after all these, it's all about managing risk. Where to exit, where to take profit, where to add to it maybe. You go, let's say you play a small and then it continue going down. You say, okay, maybe I should add, maybe I should buy a higher strike, maybe I should, get more of it because it's keep going and it's very strong. I should take my machine gun. So all these by experience you will learn it, but slow and steady you will go. The way to go is not running fast, because a lot of people run fast and lose. Thank you so much for joining. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel, like it, share it, and if you want these levels that I have, which is my secret sauce, how to get them, I get them, and I use Fibonacci. You can join my service, and I post always the levels and the hot names, and hope you all have a great weekend. Thank you so much for watching and hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.